I just looked at the camera.
You can look at the camera.
Who's going to do the intro?
You are.
Hi, my name's Hope Kneedler, and this is the Hope UC Discipleship School.
Podcast.
Welcome back.
My name
Can we
is
please
Rick
do it?
White, and I am your host. I lead the Hope UC Discipleship School and these amazing people. To my right, we've got Caleb Brown, and he's here with us. Okay, and to my left, I have Hope Kneedler, who is not Southern, and also Sage Fawcet, who does not like plumbing. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. Hope you beautiful people are doing well. Yep. I got a haircut this week.
Looking sharp.
How's your fat cat?
She's doing great.
She woke me up the other morning.
Yep.
By sitting on you?
No, she just meowed.
She was growling.
She meowed at
Growling.
Sage.
She growled at
didn't.
Sage?
She did not growl.
Sage-
That is
Sage
such
hates-
a lot.
We found
She
out.
didn't.
Sage
we know
hates
Sage
cats.
Animals.
Sage
Sage
hates
hates
animals.
All animals.
Are there any animals that you
I
like?
need to pray for her.
No animals.
Fuck.
The fake
God.
ones on Avatar.
Yes. The fake whale on Avatar. I was almost crying.
She was almost crying when it was being attacked.
I didn't
and
even.
killed.
I've never seen that one.
It was the
Really?
second Avatar.
The second
The Way
Avatar?
of the Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad.
But my cat woke her up. I go and grab the cat before it gets on the bed. And then I come back upstairs and Sage is like, "Did it touch me?" And she was very scared.
She was worried about the cat touching
And I thought it was very funny, but she doesn't like my cat.
Because
I don't think she likes any cat.
of the weight problem.
Because it's fat.
No, she just doesn't like cats at all.
I just don't like it.
And the sad thing is Tinkerbell loves Sage.
Her name's Tinkerbell.
Yep.
You have an overweight cat named Tinkerbell.
Sure do.
I like that.
Yep. I call her Nugget.
She has two names.
I call her Nugget, and then I call her Stinks.
Yeah, Nugget's way better.
Yeah.
Because people call her Tink, but sometimes she
Tink the stink.
stinks.
Okay. Well, that was helpful. Okay. Great. Okay. What was everyone's highlight this week? I know we had a snow day.
Yeah.
Hopefully that wasn't your highlight.
Crap, I have to think.
It was a good day.
Even though even though we are in the South and it does not snow all the time, so sometimes.
And by snow, we
It's
mean like
snow,
maybe
like-
an inch and a half.
A
Yeah.
dusting.
Like, no,
A
like,
dusting.
but not even.
I was a little offended by that.
Oh.
Not by what you just said, but just like we had a snow day based around something
A
that.
dusting.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. We got like 2 inches.
Really? It was that much?
I don't know about you guys. Well, you live in
Murfreesboro.
another part of the
Another?
state. Another
Another place.
another part of the state. Yeah, you guys live like in like East Tennessee.
We live 30 minutes away. I think we're closer than you. Almost.
No, you're not close to them. Are you 30 minutes away?
32.
Like 28.
Maybe
No.
if Sage is
I'm
turning
definitely
28.
I'm 24.
Years old.
No.
It felt really long whenever I was
Plus
going out to your house.
He's older than that.
He's 35.
My gosh.
He's turning 36 on
Highlight.
April 15th.
What was the highlight of the week
Oh, right.
besides learning how old I am?
Mine was Jen Sanders, just like
Just now.
an hour ago. That was my highlight.
You guys just Jen Sanders. What?
That was a terrible
Whatever.
joke. So
I don't need your guff, okay?
you just kept going, and it was not going anywhere.
Highlight of the week, Hope
Yeah.
Kneedler. What was it?
Yeah, it was Jen Sanders, and she basically just like, that was something I really needed to hear. She talked about the difference between, like, instead of saying balance, I've been saying like a lot. Oh my gosh. Okay. She talked about balance, but changing that to harmony.
Yeah.
Because balance, you see it as like it has to be equal, but instead harmony, sometimes like your ministry is going to take over more than your family. if that makes sense. Like, your ministry will have more of a priority, or your business. If you're starting up a business, you're going to have to put a lot of time and effort, and you can't have equal time. And same thing, like, sometimes your family is going to take priority over other stuff. And so saying balance is kind of, it gives the wrong idea. But harmony is like, they're not equal. It's like a dance, but nothing is suffering. So
Yeah.
it is finding the balance, the harmony in family and ministry and business and just life.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. She said that it's well, like, if you know about music, that music's made up of 3 chords, or three notes make up a chord, and I thought that was really interesting. Of like, they're all working at the same time to make something beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
Yeah.
I said I think I'm gonna steal that from now on.
Were you in the room?
No, I ran into her in the hallway.
Oh.
And Hope Kneedler was saying things like, "Oh, it was so good. That was way better than anything Rick can teach us."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What did you talk about?" And she was like, "Harmony. I talked about harmony." And then she explained it. The part about Hope Kneedler saying that was not true.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
It just looked like she was thinking it.
No, I didn't. I just wanted to make sure Miss Jen knew, like, it was a good class.
Yeah.
Because she walked away from it, I think, maybe thinking it wasn't the best, but it was really good. I needed
Yeah,
it.
I thought everybody
Really
at
good.
the end thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that was your highlight. What's, I don't know, Caleb or Sage?
My highlight was, I feel like I said Amy and I spun the last time, but we did something cool on Tuesday. They took us on like a scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
which it's a nice switch up from, sitting at the desk. So that was fun. And the point was, when we get a dream and start like chasing after it, we get so focused on that dream that we miss, like, we sometimes can take our eyes off of God and God who gave us the dream, and we get sidetracked and we miss like so many like God appointments that are along the journey to get to that dream. And so we kind of went on a scavenger hunt and stopped at like different locations, different people, and one of them was like going up to a random stranger and just talking to them and giving them compliments. So Caleb did a good job at that one.
That was really fun.
But yeah, I thought that was really good. And they were just saying, like, ask the Holy Spirit. Like, we get so focused on the dream and like meeting that end point that we miss so much along the way. And I think that was really good for me personally to hear, just because I think I do often miss things, like different appointments, or even smiling at somebody or saying hi, or just a conversation. So that was good. That was probably my highlight.
Okay.
Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know. Just the way you agreed with that was amazing.
And they said sometimes the picture or the dream is so big that God has for us that he doesn't reveal it to us all at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it could make us scared, or like, oh, like that would never happen. And so he gives us little pictures at a time. So I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Well, I can actually add on to that. Something I found that really interesting, as far as they said, if God gave you the dream originally, then you would chase the dream so hard that you would forget the journey and miss the reason why he wanted you to go to accomplish that dream.
Yeah.
And that actually got me thinking, that any of you guys can answer. This is more of a question for me. So the way Amy set this up was, she said, we're going to go to the barn. And then she said, you have to do these things on the way, and handed us the paper. And so we had the instructions that we had to go through. We had to take a picture with each person on the way. And it was just a really fun time where she basically said, be open for the Holy Spirit to see what happens. And so that's what I was expectant for. And then whenever we went through the whole thing, we made it to the barn. And she said that it's not about the ultimate destination. Like, we made it to the barn. It's about the journey and how we get there. And that really got me thinking, because she said she almost didn't hand us papers. She almost wanted to say, just go to the barn. And then, like, on our way downstairs, she'd say, oh, you should go pray for that person or go ask them if they need a word of encouragement or something. And for me, I was thinking about that, and that would be honoring the Holy Spirit, because the things that the Holy Spirit wants to do, you don't want to miss those things. But if she told me to go to the barn, I'm very goal-centered, and I would see it more as rude to not. So if she told me, like, Caleb, go over there and pray for them, I would probably like do it really quick and then go to the barn. But to me, that would be honoring Amy and Esteban by making it to the barn, because that's where they said to go. And so that was kind of a question I was thinking about, is, am I so centered on the dream that even if I feel like God's called me to do, would I take my time out to do that? And then what is the balance, or what is the harmony? The harmony to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's how I see it, as honoring Amy and Esteban. And yes, the Holy Spirit comes first, and those are like kingdom principles of character, to honor and respect the person who told you to do that thing. But then at the same time, where does the honor coming in being late to Amy and Esteban's thing?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Any answers?
I feel like a lot of it is discernment, like what takes priority. So, man, I don't know. I feel like you go on your way, like the right path. You go on your way, and if there's something that the Lord is calling you to stop at, like maybe you see somebody, and say you're driving to school, okay, you want to be on time for school, and somebody's broken down on the side of the road, and you know you can help them. Are you going to stop and help them and be late for school? Or are you, like, if the Lord is calling you to do that? I don't know. It's just being open consistently to what the Lord is telling you to do, if that makes any sense. That's how I would.
I have thoughts, but I want to hear Sage's answer first.
You should say your thoughts. My thoughts are still spinning.
Yeah. I think it's typically like this is just probably more maybe experience talking, but I think he often asks us to do things that are opposite of our preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when I see somebody who is very comfortable with being late, typically that's the Holy Spirit in a moment challenging you to, honor that and be on time somewhere.
Mm.
And then the person who is uncomfortable with being late and always has to be 5 minutes early is typically the one that gets challenged with, like, hey, are you willing to stop for the one person? And so that's just, I guess, like probably more of my experience.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So find the harmony.
Yeah.
But my favorite person probably was Dustin at the beginning of this week. And it's really hard. Dustin just gives wisdom. But I feel like for me, it's really hard to remember at times what was the main thing we talked about, because we talk about everything. So I'm going to look at my notes and just a couple of the main takeaways that I had. He was saying sometimes... Wow, this got really loud.
Sorry, yeah, I turned yours up. I meant to turn my ears up. I turned yours up by accident.
He said sometimes you have to... we were talking about getting a message across to people, and he was like, sometimes you have to swing so hard that, like, all the way around to where people will go halfway.
Yeah.
And so that's a really interesting thought, because then that means some people are going to go all the way, and then some people aren't going to go any of the way. And so just hearing him talk about how to balance that out and how he thinks about that, like sometimes you have to get angry and people are like, whoa, that's really extreme. But that's just to get you to move a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he said, if you're always yelling, you don't have the authority. And there's no
beautiful.
Do you have authority? Oh.
Yeah, I'm always yelling.
And so I thought that was really cool, just to notice who does have the authority in the room. It doesn't take yelling. Mm. He was talking about him and his relationship with his son Asher, where he doesn't have to yell to get him to listen and know when he's serious and when he has the authority. Like, he always has the authority, but when he actually means it.
He just has to body check him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that.
I wasn't there for this, so
It's a joke. It was part of the story, but I mean, it happened once. Keep going, Caleb.
He talked about how you have to live in the tension of the now and the not yet. And that meant a lot to me as far as where we are in school right now.
Yeah.
Because Madison even asked him the question, what is something we should be thinking about? Or one, how to go about these next 3 months, either thinking about the future or thinking about school now and what does that look like? And his answer was pretty much be content with where you are. And then also he said live in the tension of the now and the not yet. And sometimes that can be so hard because we're like, we're like using this example, we're about to get out of school, so what is the next step? But at the same time, we want to be content and get as much out of this season's life as possible. And so, again, I think that's a really good thought just to wrestle with and know that that's a good wrestle because you don't want to jump so far ahead that you missed what you jumped over, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just said that. That was good.
Yeah, I think that's always a challenge when you're doing something like this because there is an end date, and especially it's kind of funny because it's like I think we were talking about this on last week's podcast. It's like you're kind of getting to this point where you're actually it almost takes this long until probably like the last month or so to really feel like fully immersed in the experience, like even getting to go to the, like, cause you guys went to staff meeting and, we were talking about that is like, if you went to that same thing and we did everything the same, but you did it in September, I'm willing to bet that would have felt very different from now, just cause of like your level of investment and maturity and, what you know and have experienced. And so, it's just kind of a funny thing where it's like it's like the moment where you feel the most okay. I think I got the hang of this. I'm on the horse. I get what I'm doing. Not you. You're not on a horse because you hate animals. But the rest of us, you're on the dirt bike. Whatever. But it's it's like you feel like you're just getting the hang of it, and then it's like that does sneak up, and there in 3 months from now, we'll be done. And so that's even, I'm sure that's really a challenge to not just keep, to stay present, but then also kind of be forced a little bit to be thinking, okay, what does June look like and all that. So
it's usually sunny.
Here it's hot.
It's pretty warm.
Don't know where you guys are watching from. If you're out of the country, might be different.
Or state.
We live in
that
Tennessee.
Too. I'm
Yeah,
expecting
man. If you're,
the
The
global
grass is
audience.
green.
I would advise people to go back to the state
Skies
they're
are
from
blue.
in June.
Okay, so go back.
Right?
We're taking a census.
Right?
Everyone go back.
No?
No.
Do you wait?
Aren't
are you
you-
saying no to here or no to
No,
Pennsylvania?
no to the state I was born in.
What state were you born in?
Pennsylvania.
You were born in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I was born in Pennsylvania and then moved here when I was 1. So
Whoa.
Wow, 1 year.
I pretty much grew up here.
Yeah.
That was
Sweet.
Yeah, Dustin was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to hop on the Dustin train. He talked about
Choo-choo.
leadership, and he said he was talking about start leading in secret what you have now,
Yeah.
and don't wait. Sorry, I just kicked you. And don't wait for the mic, basically.
Yeah.
And he was like, even if that's taking out the trash, like if you live at home, just like the Lord will see what you do with the small things, and that'll potentially be a microphone one day, but just stewarding that well with what you have right now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good for
That's really
all
important.
of us. Yeah.
I feel like that's a big principle for life. If you
Take
can,
out the trash.
yeah, if you can do the little things, like everything else is easier. Instead of trying to do the hard things and not knowing how to do the little things.
Gotta start with the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something I took away from Dustin's.
Just
What?
these headphones are really doing some work for Hope, because you keep whispering, or, like doing
Sorry.
really low voice.
I was whispering a lot in the last one.
Were you?
Yeah. Okay. That's something from Dustin's that I really took away. And he also said this in the staff meeting, was he, like, on the days he did not feel it, and he was like, I don't know, he was just like, why are you doing this? Like, you could be doing so much more. You could, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks himself in the mirror and he's like, you were born for this. And then when he started saying that, I started writing stuff down that I felt the Lord, like, kind of speaking to me. Because at that moment, I don't know, I wasn't the happiest. But yeah, so I just started writing down things. But I think that's just something super powerful, is that when the enemy is speaking to you, or when you're even thinking like, oh my gosh, why am I right here? Or what? Like, it's where God has you. But, oh my gosh.
It's okay. You can cry on this.
No. But stop. Gosh. Okay.
This is a safe place.
Okay. But that's where God has you. But there's those moments of weakness, and everybody has them. But to be able to speak what the Lord is saying over that, and even just having it written down, and that's something I've become super passionate about, is just writing in your notes app stuff the Lord is saying about you. And maybe even small testimonies of what the Lord has done in your life. And just so you can look at it and say, this is what the Bible is saying. This is who God says I am. This is what God has told me in the past.
Yeah.
This is what God has done for me in the past, even if it's something super, super small. He does stuff like all the time.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that is going to, like, speaking it out loud is going to do so much for you than if you're just partnering with what the enemy or with what your little low point is saying. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was something that Travis and Alex talked about too when they were in. They just both talked about, like, writing down the things that God's speaking to you, and being able to look back. Alex had something particular in a journal that he was able to look back and go, oh my gosh, I prayed for this, and this really happened. And I think Travis really was passionate about that. So that's a super big deal. It was funny. I was thinking about this, Hope, as you were talking, because, Caleb was talking about being faithful with the small things. And one thing that you've chosen to do this year is the scheduling. And I don't even remember how that came up, besides that I'm not good at it.
That's all we needed.
That's all she needed. But yeah, how did you, it's like, I don't know. I've been really impressed with even your diligence and how you stewarded that. And so what was that process like, even for you, of besides, I know that I'm not the best at administrative abilities. But yeah, like, what was that process for you wanting to own that side of school?
I don't know. I just would take things, like, that's something that I just felt was right, like, just to take it on. And any, like, small task that you can take on is important. And I knew it would take a weight off of your shoulders, and I was like, yeah, he could use that.
Whoa!
Sorry.
No, it has been one of those things for me that's really helped.
Yeah, but I think administrative skills. Sorry.
She said, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, yeah.
But, like, administrative skills are things that I do want to grow in, and I was just like, yeah, let's do it.
She's really good at that.
Thanks, Sage.
Yeah, no, it has been great having you do that. But I think a lot of people, probably wouldn't see that as an opportunity. Would probably even, it's like you're doing that as a volunteer, not getting paid for it. And building that castle in heaven.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably one of the best examples of somebody this year who's really taken an area and gone, well, I'm I'm gonna really own this, and you know, probably at some points feels like taking out the trash when people don't respond to you, or you know.
Not gonna name
not
drop.
gonna
name names.
We're not gonna name
not
drop.
gonna name drop, but there are some people out there.
Yeah, coming for you.
It's not Andrew.
Text
this is
back.
Andrew. No, it's not Andrew.
gonna
This
keep
is
doing
Andrew.
this?
Andrew texts back. Thank you for doing that.
Good job, Andrew.
Yeah.
This is Andrew. Sage too.
And this is the person that needs to text back.
Oh.
I'm gonna put Caleb's face. Yeah, and then Andrew just texted me and said, "You're welcome." Just now. Thank you, Andrew. Cool. So
You want to know what I learned this week?
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
You
That was
ready?
too mean for the podcast. It's normal for us in class, but too mean for the podcast.
It's normal for Rick to be mean in class.
I learned.
Dustin
I
says
yell.
2 positives before 1 negative.
Nice.
You guys just all made that awkward on purpose.
Dude, I was talking about that the
Okay.
other day. I was like, I'm gonna start doing that. People are gonna ask me a question and just nothing on subject, and just drop a piece of wisdom that sounds really good and have nothing
Just
to
a
do
Dustin
with the
Smith.
thing. Well,
This
Dustin
had
Smith or
to do
anything.
with what?
Sorry, I just,
Two
in my mind,
positives.
I had no idea what the
2
Did he
positives
say that?
before 1 negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you
He
mean?
said it.
When?
Well, he was saying like
We'll
Just-
get back to you,
I just
Caleb.
would
We have
like
to figure this out.
out of context Dustin Smith wisdom quotes. Boom.
Yeah.
I liked it.
he was saying give 2 positives to an idea before 1 negative.
Oh,
because
yeah.
we have
Yeah.
such a negative mindset towards things, and that'll help rewire your brain.
Explain that a little more.
I just did.
But in
Just
an
go a
example.
little further.
Yeah, what's an example
So
of
if
that?
Hope has an idea of let's all go for a run before class,
Yeah.
I would give a positive and be like, I love that you want us to do that, Hope.
Oh, no.
That is good exercise for our bodies.
Is that 2?
Yeah.
Or is that 1 positive?
Now drop
that's
it.
two.
Oh.
So you just
But I
proved
hate
why.
running, so
Okay.
no.
There
That's
it
a
is.
personal preference.
Okay.
Wow.
Does that make sense,
like it.
Caleb?
Yeah,
That's good. Too.
That was great.
I think just saying
Well
2
done.
positives to a negative. I went to like ions and different things.
Oh, I
was
didn't
like,
learn about that in school.
Caleb went to
Dude.
science. Sage went to encouragement.
Anyway, I learned the F word this week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Autumn taught us the F word.
She taught it to us, and
Caleb's gonna say it on the
She
podcast.
said it multiple times.
Caleb, what is the F word?
I can't tell you
Caleb,
that.
don't say it.
It's the F word.
Don't
Spelled
say
out.
FAIR.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Rick had no idea where I was going
I
with
didn't
that.
know which one it was, but I knew it wasn't
What's the other one?
The other F word.
failure.
No, her other one was
fair.
F-U-N.
Yeah.
Fun?
No. But
Sorry.
Wait, why is fair
Yeah.
bad? I
Ask
mean, I
Caleb.
think I know why.
Oh
But
dear.
well, in her household, that's not a thing, and that's the
Oh,
F
really?
word. Yeah.
So why? I like this.
Honestly, I just took away the word. I'm pretty sure that
That's what you learn.
that's literally what I have in my notes.
He does. It says fair equals F word,
Square. Yeah.
and then roots.
Yep. And plant your roots. But being fair, there isn't such a thing.
I'm just
as
gonna do the
being
next
fair.
podcast where I read Caleb's notes.
What is happening over
Oh,
there?
that's so funny.
Caleb. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's the F word, and because she doesn't want her.
Why?
house to
Do you
be
get?
fair.
Stop doing
Stop
that.
it. We're gonna listen back to this, and
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
gonna like it.
Wait, but I don't. You didn't explain that at all. There's no notes under this, by the way.
Exactly.
It just says
Wow, off the
fair
dome.
equals F word. No, I'm saying there's no notes in terms of there's no explanation of it.
Oh.
Why is fair bad?
Oh, because when your kids are like, that's not fair, but you know, everybody's different. So like, say your daughter's a crybaby. I don't know. And
Just say
you're
it.
going to
Are you
treat her.
saying that about my daughter?
Gosh.
She's not.
Anyway, but say your daughter's a crybaby.
You've met my daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Era.
I'm
Shout out.
okay. I wasn't
Here's your
even
seashells.
specific. Okay.
Seashells.
Anyway,
That's what Andrew looks
you're
like.
gonna treat her differently than somebody who's not necessarily
Yeah.
a crybaby,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's not fair. Oh no. And then they're gonna like,
Oh no.
This sounds like a speech that that Hope has given to somebody before.
no, but I
Life's
agree
not
with her. Fair is an F
Yeah,
word.
that's true.
Your kids are gonna constantly be like, "That's not fair." Say like, there's like a big age gap, and one is a baby and can only eat applesauce, and then the other one can have a hot dog. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
The old hot dog and applesauce kind of.
the older one's gonna be like, "But I want just applesauce," and be like, "No,
Yeah,
you need the hot
protein.
dog." All right, that went terribly, but you kind of see what I
Yeah,
mean,
I
right?
get-
That was
I
much
what
better
you're
than my
saying.
explanation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, none. No
I want
explanation.
the applesauce. That's not fair.
Yeah. Well, and I think for us, it's like it's easy to believe. I think fair, equals being like deserving something,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's easy for us to slip into that where you think it's like I deserve this or
Yeah, and I mean, you can so easily look at other people's lives and see like
Yeah.
their life looks so cool. They're doing so much, all this stuff. That's not fair. I'm just doing this. But God has everybody on different paths. Like, it's just fair. Fair is a made-up idea. If everything was like equal and fair, it's the same thing with balance. The equalness. It's not what you really want. I feel like.
I like that.
So,
Or something you'll probably ever get.
yeah. It's just, and it's different for everybody too. We're all very different up here too, in your mind. Sorry.
Yes.
Like we all have different personalities, thoughts, all that stuff. And so fair is a different concept to every single person. I
Yeah,
think.
that's
Like
good.
what is fair?
That's good.
So, okay, sorry. Done.
No, that's great.
That's
I think that was a great explanation.
Yeah,
That was good.
Hot dogs and applesauce.
hot dogs and applesauce. Man.
Cool. Well, do you have any? This is like
Oh.
I know it doesn't feel like we've been going for very long, but we've gone for almost like 30 minutes. I
Oh
think.
wow.
Oh wow.
Right? Yeah. So this is our closing segment.
Okay.
Any closing thoughts?
I got one.
We've been
Well.
Well,
Sorry, I meant to. Well.
Wait, at the same time.
Any? No, I won't do that. What's your closing
it.
thought?
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Nah.
All right, we're wasting time.
Come on.
Oh,
All right.
Okay, I loved Miss Jen. She said at the end of it, she didn't have a perfect answer for one of the questions that were asked, and then she was like, "It's my first time living life, guys. We need grace. This is my first time being this old. This is your first time being this old." And so that I just find that really funny to think about. It's our first time.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
the
Agreed.
closing thought.
Yep.
First
That was
time.
my closing thought. What are yours?
This is your first time being as old as you are.
Yeah. And your last.
And you're never going to make
That
it
was
till
morbid.
tomorrow.
Sorry.
Because by the time you make it to tomorrow, it's going to be today.
Wow, Caleb. That's a crazy thought. You
Sage-
guys are like matching right now.
Sage
You
looks
look
like she has one on deck. A closing thought on deck.
oh.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted that. It felt right, and then I missed it, I think. So.
I was looking for it.
Oh, okay. Hope, do you have a closing thought?
I kind of want to talk about autumns. So, sorry,
Okay.
I'm just.
I like that.
Okay, but it kind of went into what I just said about Dustin, and she was talking a lot about vision, and she asked if we made a vision board. We already have, and
You guys, your vision boards are beautiful.
thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Um,
Don't say it.
but she
More-
had us
More aimed in that
essentially like,
direction.
okay.
Your life is going to be beautiful.
I'm sitting that way. The camera's just weirdly cut. Sorry, what, Hope?
Yeah, so as I was saying, she had us make a vision notebook, kind of.
Oh, okay.
And so
Whoa.
where we write it out.
Were you there?
Yeah.
And I don't have that notebook, but it was like write down what your visions are, but she also more had it aimed in identity, I would say. And so write down what God has for you. She had a bunch of things. I wish I had my notebook for that. But then she had a concept of 4 wins. And so the first one was you're winning spiritually, and should happen daily. Like if you look daily for some way that you won in these 4 categories, it's great. But anyway, so the first one's you winning spiritually, you're in Bible time, prayer, quiet time, stuff like that. And then the next one is physical, so if you do something physical that day. And then mental, and you're learning something new. So what did you learn or build a skill? Something like that. And then the 4th one, which I don't really see how this is a win, but it's more of a reflection, and it's write down something that you can continue to work on and is kind of positive. So that was just good. It's like a daily journal kind of thing. And I feel like it helps keep your eyes on the prize, you know?
Yeah.
And just keep you going. And so it kind of works in with like even through the bad days. If you keep, focus on gratitude. So like what happened good today, or like you have your little checkpoints you can check off. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're not sure how the reflection is a win.
yeah.
But I think a lot of the time people don't, even if they win in an area, they don't reflect on it, so they don't give themselves credit for finishing it. So that is a win in itself, that you're even thinking about what you did that should actually give you accomplishment. Because I think a lot of the times we do stuff, and then if we make do one or two wrong things or make a mistake, that's going to be the thing we think of for the day. So I think that's how the reflection is so good.
Yeah.
And I've listened to quite a few things on that, and everybody's like, have a journal and do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Sage, final thought.
Rick, are you crying?
it's okay to cry.
I just love the reflection part.
You really look like you're crying.
Really? I think I'm very remarkably tired.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a remarkable.
That's why you
Good
don't
Sage.
have a dream notebook, is because you have a remarkable.
No, she gave me a notebook too. I have that.
I
my
like the
backpack.
time that Madison gave us all notebooks.
no.
Wow, that felt like
yeah, let's talk
forever
I
about
ago.
still am
this.
using that one, because she gave me one where a pen goes in the back of it, which I really find handy. But I'm
That's
using it, and Caleb just gave it back. He was
No,
like,
I didn't.
He's
I
like,
still
I'm,
have it.
he's like, I'm
Caleb,
never
what
going
did
to
you
use
say?
this.
Madison,
When she was
I
trying to
use
give it to
yours
you?
every day.
I use it a lot. I use it in staff
I said
meeting.
thank you for the notebook.
No.
I did say that.
I'm never going to use
no,
this
he
ever
said,
in my life.
Thanks. I don't think I'm gonna use this. So I don't. I don't know.
It was honesty.
Like
It was
you sounded like thank you as a question.
No, I said thank you.
But
And then they blew it up.
Then they blew it up.
and then he tried to give.
And I have another notebook now, and that's exciting.
And then he, oh my gosh.
All right, closing thoughts. Sage.
Okay. My closing thought is Jen was talking about this, and she said if the Lord puts something on your heart, ask him how to steward it and what the timing is for that.
Oh, that's good.
And I thought that was amazing because the Lord does give us dreams and vision and everything like that. But I feel like we can oftentimes either like blow it out of proportion or start doing it in the wrong timing. And I think it's so important to like constantly be in communication and like conversation with the Lord and being like, is this for now? Is this for 10 years? Like, and even pray into it before.
That's super wise.
Yeah.
That's super wise. I think a lot of people do, like, they hear stuff from the Lord. It's actually like one of the ways I think people get the most, I think, disappointed in our faith is that they hear things from the Lord. They don't do that. They don't get a timeline for it or even understand that, man, this could be 10 years. This could be multi-generational. It might not even be my thing to see in my lifetime. And then they get really disappointed and, disillusioned. So I think that's such a good, such a good thing to take away right now in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well,
Yeah.
this was a podcast.
This was a podcast.
It was a podcast.
That's so true.
Thank you, Hope.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, great. thank you for coming to see us hang out.
See you next week.
Bye.
Cut.